The Mekong is one of the world's great rivers. It begins its long journey high on the Tibetan Plateau, a remote and icy wilderness in China. From these silent peaks, it carves a path south, a ribbon of water descending through great gorges and steep valleys. It flows for more than 4,000 kilometers. It touches the lives of many nations. Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia. Finally, it reaches Vietnam, where its waters spread out into a vast delta. Here, after its long travels, it pours into the South China Sea. This is not just a river. It is a source of life for over 60 million people who depend directly on its generosity. The river is a moving map of geography and culture. In its upper reaches, it is a wild and powerful force, known as the Lancang in China. As it flows south, its character changes. It widens, slows, and becomes a gentle giant. It forms the border between nations, a shared space that both separates and connects. The land it touches is incredibly diverse. Misty mountains, dense forests, wide, flat plains. The river gives and takes, shaping the landscape with its seasonal floods. It is a system of immense complexity and beauty, a lifeline that has sustained civilizations for thousands of years. Its scale is difficult to comprehend. The Mekong Basin is a vast area, larger than France. Within this basin, an incredible diversity of life has flourished. It is second only to the Amazon in its biodiversity. Thousands of species of fish swim in its waters. Many are found nowhere else on Earth. Birds flocking to wetlands, mammals, large mammals, small. This rich web of life is intricately connected to the river's rhythm, wet season, dry season. Life on the Mekong moves at the river's pace. Each day begins before dawn, as the first light touches the water. Small wooden boats, single oar. Small wooden boats, small motor glide silently from the shore. These are the fishermen heading out for the morning catch, their silhouettes dark against the rising sun. Movements practiced and patient skills passed down through generations. Further out, larger cargo boats start downstream, carrying rice, carrying fruit, carrying other goods. The river is a highway, a network of arteries. Along the banks, entire communities live with the water. Houses on tall wooden stilts. Design keeps homes safe during annual floods. Below the houses, life continues. Children play in the shade. Women weave nets. Boats moored, ready for the next journey. The river is their front yard. They wash by the water. They swim in the river. They draw water for daily needs. This relationship with the water is part of their identity. They don't live beside the river. They live with it. Farming tied to the river's cycle. Low-lying fields stretch from the riverbanks. When floods recede, rich, dark silt remains. Natural fertilizer, a gift from the river. Farmers plant mostly rice, working with simple tools season by season. Rice feeds families and is sold in distant markets. The annual flood is the foundation of this productivity. The river is a place of community. People gather, share news, keep traditions. Evenings, families sit by the water's edge. Children learn to swim and fish young. Sound of water, smell of wet earth, evening light. For these communities, the river is home, provider, and identity. They understand its moods and its patterns. They know when the fish will run and when the floods will come. The river provides the water for their rice paddies, the fish for their meals, and the clay for their pots. It is a constant presence in their lives, a quiet but powerful force that shapes their past, their present, and their future. To understand the Mekong is to understand the deep and ancient connection between people and the natural world. The Mekong's most defining feature is its annual flood pulse. This is the great breath of the river. During the dry season from November to May, the river is low and its flow is gentle. But when the monsoon rains arrive in June, the river begins to transform. Water from the mountains and the plains pours into its channel. The Mekong swells, rising by many meters. It spills over its banks and spreads across the vast floodplain. It is dramatic. The river claims back the land, turning forests and fields into a huge inland sea. This annual flood is the engine that drives the entire ecosystem. This flood brings life. It creates an enormous temporary wetland, a vast nursery. Many of the Mekong's fish come to breed here. They swim out from the main channel into these habitats. The water is rich with food, from insects to decaying plants. The young fish grow quickly, hidden among trees and grasses. This migration is a great spectacle, a mass movement of life. The Tonle Sap Lake in Cambodia is the heart of this system. In the dry season, it is relatively small. But as the Mekong rises, the Tonle Sap reverses. Water flows upstream from the Mekong into the lake. The lake expands more than 5 times its size. It becomes one of the most productive freshwater fisheries. When the dry season returns, the river reverses again. Water flows out, carrying an abundance of fish ready to feed the millions who depend on them. The cycle moves nutrients, enriches soil, recharges groundwater. It provides the perfect conditions for fish to thrive. There are giants. The Mekong giant catfish, which can grow to the size of a grizzly bear. But there are also hundreds of smaller species, each adapted to a specific part of the river's complex environment. The health of the fish is a direct reflection of the health of the river. When the flood pulse is strong and predictable, the fish population flourishes. Where the Mekong spreads into its delta, a unique way of life has emerged. Here, the river splinters into 1,000 channels and canals. Water is the primary mode of transport. And so, markets have taken to the water. These are the floating markets, vibrant and bustling centers of commerce. Long before sunrise, hundreds of boats converge at designated points along the river. They are laden with the bounty of the delta, colorful pyramids of tropical fruit, fresh vegetables, baskets of fish caught just hours before. The market is a sensory explosion of color, sound, and smell. These are not markets for tourists, though many come to see them. They are wholesale markets where local farmers and fishermen sell their produce to buyers. Smaller boats weave between the larger vessels selling coffee and noodle soup to the busy traders. Deals are made with shouts and gestures. A long pole passes money and goods from boat to boat. Each boat specializes. A pineapple tied to a tall bamboo stick advertises from afar. Chaotic and perfectly organized, the floating market is the economic heart of the community. High upstream, far from the bustling markets, and far from the fertile floodplains, a profound change is taking place. A series of massive hydroelectric dams are being built across the Mekong's main channel and its tributaries. These dams are built to generate electricity, powering the rapid economic growth of the region. They are monuments of modern engineering, capable of holding back immense quantities of water. On the surface, they represent progress and development, but their impact downstream is deep and far-reaching. A dam acts as a wall. It fundamentally alters the river's natural flow. The seasonal flood pulse, the great breath of the river, is weakened. Water is held back and released to meet electricity demand, not the needs of the ecosystem. For fish evolved to migrate and breed with the flood, the consequences are devastating. Dams block ancient routes. Life cycles break, populations decline. Dams also trap sediment. The rich silt settles in reservoirs. The water released is clear and, hungry, stripped of life-giving nutrients. Downstream, soils grow poorer and crop yields drop. Hungry water erodes banks and riverbeds, reshaping the channel. The Mekong Delta, starved of sediment, is sinking and shrinking. Benefits flow to far-off cities. The costs fall on rural communities who depend on the river. The challenges facing the Mekong are not limited to dams. A changing global climate is adding pressure. The monsoon, once predictable, grows erratic. Some years bring extreme droughts. Water scarcity makes farming and navigation difficult. Other years bring unusually intense floods that destroy homes and fields. Rising sea levels push saltwater upstream, contaminating drinking water and irrigation. Poisoned soil makes rice impossible to grow. For farmers, it is an existential threat. Pollution is another growing problem. Expanding cities and industries release sewage, industrial chemicals, and agricultural pesticides. Plastic chokes waterways, harms wildlife, and breaks into microplastics that enter the food chain. Water quality declines, endangering human health and aquatic life. Scarcity grows. Overfishing strains stocks. Once seemingly limitless, many species decline. Giants are now critically endangered. For fishermen, smaller catches and lower incomes. For families, less protein, The river's great abundance begins to fade. The Mekong is more than a physical entity of water and land. It is a cultural and spiritual force. For the people along its banks, the river is woven into beliefs and traditions. Many communities see spirits in the water, the rocks, the trees. The river is revered as a powerful deity, Mae Nam Kong, Mother of Water. Offerings ask for blessing, a safe journey, or a good catch. Reverence becomes festival, Lai Rui Phai at the end of Buddhist Lent. Thousands of candlelit boats drift down the dark water. In Cambodia, Bonam Tuk celebrates the Tonle Sap reversal with spectacular boat races. The cuisine is defined by the river, fresh fish grilled with lemongrass, steamed with ginger, or fermented into prahak. Riverbank herbs brighten meals. Sharing fish, fragrant rice, fresh vegetables tells the river's story. Traditions are a living library. Stories, songs, rituals, and fishing knowledge to live in harmony with the water. As the river changes, culture is threatened. Protecting the river protects irreplaceable heritage. The future of the Mekong River hangs in a delicate balance. The threats it faces are immense and complex. Yet, there is still hope in the resilience of its people. Growing awareness that this vital ecosystem must be protected. Communities restore wetlands, establish fish conservation zones, and replant riverbanks to prevent erosion. Effective change requires cooperation. The Mekong is transboundary. Upstream choices shape downstream lives. Nations must share dam plans, water flows, and fish data, making decisions for the whole river, not short-term gains. This requires diplomacy, trust, and a shared vision for a sustainable future. Projects introduce salt-tolerant rice and promote alternative livelihoods. Scientists test fish ladders, communities clean canals and turn plastic into products. Solutions need scientific knowledge, local wisdom, and political will. See the river as a living system to be nurtured. Responsibility is shared by all of us.